So there's an argument out there by atheists. They use Genesis 22 when it talks about Abraham sacrificing Isaac's son. And they say, well, is this not immoral for God to, command Abraham to sacrifice his son? We have to look at the whole picture here. This isn't the first test that has been given to Abraham. The first test that was given to him was he was told to leave his family, leave everybody, and go to a land that he did not know. Another test that he had was he was told that he was going to have a son at an old age, 100 years old. His wife was 90. He was given promises too. He was given promises from his son Isaac that he would be the seed of many nations, and this through the seed of Isaac, many nations he will father many nations. Now, when you look at the first verse of Genesis 22, it's interesting how God says, "Bring your only son." Well, this isn't true if we look at it in a literal sense. Isaac wasn't his only son that he loved. There was Ishmael as well, and we know that Ishmael was loved by Abraham too. He had a hard time departing from Ishmael and his mom. But so right off the bat, God is directing him to something that deals with his promises of Isaac. And he's testing Abraham to believe and have faith that this Isaac, this seed, his son that he loves, is going to be heir to these nations. He's going to see these nations, and Abraham will father these nations. So that promise is being kept here, and God is reminding him of this. This is what's going on. And when you look a little further down in the passage, Abraham tells the two young men that are with him that him and Isaac are going to go up to the mountain and sacrifice at this particular place there. And notice it says, "And we will both return." Now, a lot of people say, "Oh, Abraham must have been going through such hardship. He must have been just going through some just complete agony, knowing that he's got to sacrifice his son." I don't think that's the case at all here. I think Abraham knew by faith that with God's promises, God does not relinquish his promises. God keeps his promises. He's kept his promises to him all along. And he's going to keep his promises again. He doesn't know how it's going to go through, but he knows somehow Ishmael is going to come back with him, whether resurrected or whatever the case might be. So Abraham is having faith here in God, and he's saying, this is something that I need to do. God is testing me to show my faith in his faithfulness and trusting in him that his promises are going to be kept. It's not a test, or he's not having faith that God is somehow thinking of this gross act. Somehow God is just sovereign in all this, and somehow God's going to make it okay after he kills his son. That's not the case at all. So I think atheists are coming from a totally wrong perspective on this passage. God is not immoral here because God has no intentions of destroying Isaac at all. He just wants to see Abraham go through with all this up to the point of this sacrifice, to show that that he is a willing prospect for his promises. And that's why it says, now I know. So it's only after his actions that he took, God knew that his trust in him was true. And that goes the same way with us as Christians. God tests us, tests our faith. It's only when we overcome these tests or these trials do we show God that we're truly legitimate in our faith and trust in him. It's not a blind faith. It's a faith that that is infused with actions, infused with works, and trusting in God in all things. So now, an interesting